Welcome to the Sleepy Storyteller, where dreams take flight and stories drift like whispers through the night. If you love magical tales that lull you into a peaceful slumber, be sure to like and subscribe for more bedtime stories. Now settle in, close your eyes, and let your imagination set sail as we journey into the world of the sand and the sea. Long ago, in a quiet coastal village, there lived a man named Dorian. He was a sculptor, but not one who carved from marble or chiseled stone. No, Dorian's art was made of something far more fleeting: sand. With his hands he moulded statues along the shore, crafting warriors who stood proud, queens who gazed into the horizon, and children frozen mid-laughter. The tides would come and wash them away, but Dorian never minded. To him each creation was a whisper of beauty, destined to return to the sea. Though the villagers admired his talent, they often asked, "Why do you not carve from stone, Dorian? Why create something so easily lost?" He would simply smile and say, "Not all things are meant to last forever. Some are meant to be remembered." But among all the statues he had ever made, one stood apart, the figure of a woman, graceful and serene, her flowing hair captured in delicate strands of sand. Her face bore a quiet longing, as if waiting for someone who had not yet arrived. Each morning, as the sun rose, Dorian rebuilt her, smoothing the details the waves had taken. He traced the delicate curve of her cheek, reshaped her lips, and carefully placed her hands as if she were reaching out toward the sea. And each night he whispered to her as if she could hear. "I wonder who you are," he mused. "I wonder if you are real." Dorian's fascination with the sea and his mysterious sculpture did not go unnoticed. The elders of the village often shook their heads, believing he was too caught up in fantasy. "You should marry Dorian," they would say. "Find a real woman instead of chasing dreams in the tide." But no woman in the village ever stirred his heart the way his sculpture did. He felt as though she was a part of him, a presence just beyond reach, waiting in the depths of the sea. When he looked into the rolling waves, he felt as if someone was watching back, and so he continued his ritual, building her each day, never knowing that his devotion had been seen. One fateful evening, as Dorian sat by his latest sculpture, the sky darkened with the promise of a storm. The wind howled through the cliffs, the sea roared with restless energy, and lightning tore through the heavens. The villagers hurried to their homes, latching their doors and shuttering their windows. But Dorian remained by the shore, watching as the tide swallowed his beloved statue. Rain pelted his skin, and the winds threatened to push him back. But he stood firm, his heart pounding with an unexplainable feeling, anticipation. He had never feared the sea, but that night he felt as if something within its depths was calling to him. And then he saw her. As the storm raged, a figure emerged from the waves, stepping onto the shore with an ethereal grace. Her hair cascaded down her back like liquid night, and her eyes held the depth of the ocean itself. She was beautiful, impossibly so, and yet familiar. She looked exactly like the sculpture he had spent years creating. "Dorian," she said softly, as if she had known his name all along. His breath caught. Who are you?" She smiled, a secret held within her lips. "My name is Narina. I have watched you for a long time, sculptor of the shore." For days Narina remained in the village, walking beside Dorian as he shaped his statues. She marvelled at his hands, at the way he could turn mere grains of sand into something so lifelike. "Why do you not keep them?" she asked one evening as they sat upon the rocks, watching the tide creep closer. Dorian sighed, brushing his fingers over the damp sand. "Because I have learned to love things as they are, not as I wish them to be. I know the sea will take them, and that is enough for me." She looked at him then, her expression unreadable. "And what if the sea took me? Would that be enough?" His chest tightened at the thought. "I do not wish to own you, Narina. I only wish to know you." She smiled, and in that moment the wind carried their laughter over the waves. As the days turned to weeks, Dorian found himself falling for the woman who had stepped from the sea. She knew things about the ocean no human could, telling him stories of creatures that danced in the deep and shipwrecks that slept beneath the waves. And yet there was something unspoken between them, a quiet truth Dorian felt but dared not voice. Narina could not stay. One evening, as the sky blazed with the colours of sunset, Narina took Dorian's hand and led him to the water's edge. "I must return soon," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Dorian's heart clenched. "Why?" "Because I belong to the sea," she said simply. "I was never meant to stay on land. The ocean is my home, just as the shore is yours." A lump formed in his throat. He wanted to beg her to stay, to promise that they could find a way. But he had spent his life understanding that some things could not be held forever. Instead, he lifted a handful of sand and let it slip through his fingers. "Then take me with you," he whispered. She cupped his face, pressing her forehead against his. "You are not meant for the deep, Dorian, just as I am not meant for the shore. But I will return. Every storm, every wave that touches this sand, I will be there." Tears blurred his vision as she stepped into the sea, her form dissolving into the water like foam, and just like that she was gone. Dorian did not weep, for he knew she was not truly lost. Each morning he returned to the shore and sculpted her figure once more, as he had done before she ever stepped onto land. But now, as the waves took her likeness away, he did not feel sorrow, he felt love. Because love was not in holding on. Love was in the letting go, in the trust that no matter how far the tides pulled her away, she would always return. And on stormy nights, when the waves crashed and the wind howled, he swore he could hear her voice whispering his name. And so, dear dreamers, we reach the end of tonight's tale. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe to The Sleepy Storyteller for more magical bedtime adventures. May your dreams be as deep as the ocean and as gentle as the tide. Sleep well, and until next time, good night.